Namaskar. Due to
I've
Corona.
been doing it a long time.
Nice to see you this evening. Maybe
Nice
your
to
good
see
morning for
you.
you.
And hello, world. Welcome to IBM.TV. I'm your host and senior executive producer of IBM TV, Kimberly Calhoun. And we are doing worldwide discussions and coverage of the coronavirus 19. With us today, I am so thrilled to have Dr. Sagu. Welcome, Dr. Sagu. With us also today, we have Willie. Hi, Willie.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Now, okay, share with the world. You're from Australia.
Yep.
And what time is it there?
This is 1 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, so I'm going to put my little tiki doll on him. Yeah, my little voodoo doll. So I got my voodoo doll out. My voodoo doll is going to go against them. So anyway, welcome. We're gonna put the voodoo doll against the coronavirus too, right? So
Absolutely.
and we've got Sasha. With love. Good morning. Namaste. They're auditing me. But I'm also going to put it against the COVID ID, COVID-19 virus. But anyway, welcome. And Dr. Sagu is trying to join us. He's having technical difficulties. As we experience, sometimes people from all over the world, I have difficulties. They cut me off a couple of days ago, just as we were wrapping up. So anyway, let's talk about what's going on in the different parts of the world. Willie, what's going on with you?
Okay. The border restrictions are in place. That means we're not allowing people in. People as in non-Australian residents. We're only allowing Australian citizens and permanent residents in. The workplace-wise, we checking doing the temperature checks every morning. We sanitizing the whole place. Somebody runs around during the day, sanitizing things, or like touch points, anything that is handled by people. So the other thing locally that's happening is, how the panic buy has been happening? So they've increased police patrol within supermarkets.
Really?
So that we don't have fights or disputes regarding, oh, you have too many, you need to give us some. They're also rationing the amount that you are allowed to have food-wise.
They need to do that here. They're totally out of food here. We have a small market. It's within walking distance if I want to go. It's out in the country. So I don't fear going there, even though we have an increase of the virus and it did spread at the school across the street. But the kids are bussed in from all over and driven in. They're not local children that became infected. So I have no problems going up there, but there's literally no food. None. I mean, there's boxes of cereals that nobody likes, like the Twinkie cereals.
Yes.
But there's no meat. I was able to get a pack of bacon, but there was no chicken. There was no beef. There were some sausages. No eggs. Not even the kind that lasts forever in a carton. So I agree with you. I think they need to ration the food. I mean, this is not good. How long do they predict that this is going to happen in Australia?
I haven't come across that yet. They just doing the checks day by day. Nobody's doing any forecasting. Right.
I mean, and this is something that we could have never predicted to happen, right? I mean, we just, there's no way we could have calculated all of this to happen. They're doing a isolated shelter or standby shelter in San Francisco because so many homeless. So they have to stay in their one shelter area. They can't go anywhere doing anything. So what else are they doing in Australia?
That's about it. But one of the things that we're seeing, and I'm looking at the stats here, is the number in New South Wales. The numbers in New South Wales have increased.
I think we're going to see a lot of fake news, especially with a lot of bored people at home. And, you know, I mean, we're going to get to Sasha about what's going on in his world. But first, I want to introduce everyone to Dr. Sagu. Good morning, Dr. Sagu.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning. We have no regulations on this show as far as, you know, if we need to talk over anything. We're also not a advertised show. So, you know, feel free to talk about what you need to talk about and discuss. We don't have gag orders. And that's why we wanted to do this, because we discovered that so many news stations, and I noticed this when I'm watching the newscasters, they're being controlled by what questions they can ask at the press conferences. I truly believe it, because they're asking really stupid questions. Rather than asking, what does the coronavirus do to the human body? They're saying, how long is the school going to be closed? I mean, who cares about how long the school is going to be closed? I want to know what's going to happen to the body. But I just noticed that the questions are really controlled. And when they are a little more open, the only comments we get is no comment. So So we decided to, real people, real influential people from around the world tell their stories. Dr. Sagu, meet Sasha from Canada, but also Russia. And
good morning.
Chess experts.
Good morning.
Very shortly, to answer your question about Canada, I'll be very short thing, just an update. Basically, the total cases in Canada, believe it or not, is 690. And the total number of probable cases, only 35. So this is something, in my opinion, I'm not sure that it's improving, but at least I think all the steps taken by closing the border, except essential travel between US and Canada. So I would think that probably trucks bringing the food back and forth, you know, the really essential traffic, basically it's all done and over. Now, very interesting statistics is that 52% of all cases are male, and of course 48 female. 31% of cases are 60 years old and over. I think that's expected. 11% of cases have been hospitalized. It's a little bit scary, but 89% of cases were not hospitalized. Okay, 9 people have died so far from COVID-19 in Canada, of course, and 69% of cases are travelers, and 13% are close contact of travelers. Here we're talking about travel. That's a very important thing to understand. Okay, that's I promised to be.
Thank you. No, Sasha, thank you so much. I love all of our conversations of what we're doing, how we're controlling, how we're staying isolated, the things we do at home, because I think people forget what you can do at home because we're never at home anymore. And we're always into our devices. Good morning, Ankit. Ankit has joined us from India. And we have Dr. Sagu. Dr. Sagu, do you know Ankit?
Yes. Kim, just I want to tell you about the stats of the coronavirus. So let me discuss about some structure of the coronavirus. Actually, the coronavirus is the coronavirus family. It's the same virus which was there in SARS and MERS. There was an outbreak in 2002 and 3, that was the SARS, but slightly difference is there with the coronavirus. Now, the coronavirus is the type of virus is zoonotic. I mean, it spread from the animal to the human being, but it's a different story is after coming into the human body, so there it has been converted into the human virus. So there is a species jump of the coronavirus. or when there is a human virus and the animal virus, they were there in one cell. So when there is a replication or synthesis of the protein is there, then there is a mutation in the mRNA. And because of the mutation, it has become now a different type of the virus, which is attacking differently. So now it is a mutated genome, which is actually working. And that is why we are not able to control. We were not able to control this because of lack of awareness. But now total cases of coronavirus infection in the whole of the world is 2,23,000, out of which 85,797 they have fully recovered, and there are only 9,149 deaths. It means the mortality is not high. Mortality is around 3.5 to 4%, and we have seen that still 1,25,000 patients, they are still active. So we need to work on that. So if I talk about other cases, I mean, in China, there's a death of 3,245 cases. In Italy, the death of 2,978. In Iran, 1,284. In Spain, 640 deaths. In France, 264 deaths. In India, the total number of cases till now, till evening, maybe it is 174, and we have seen total 3 deaths. And I would like to point out that today only there are 2 deaths in Punjab area. One is in Fagwada, another is in Nawashahar. There are 2 places, but they have not been declared because of our coronavirus. But one of the person, he came from Germany, and another, the lady, she came from Abu Dhabi with the infection. The symptoms looks like a coronavirus. So if we include these 2, it can be 5 cases, but otherwise 3 cases, 3 deaths reported in India. And yeah, in Pakistan, there are total number of cases, 331, and the deaths are 2, and in other places also. And I would like to mention here that recently the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, has called a meeting of countries, and he has requested to take precautionary measures. And I think the treatment is only precautionary measures. There is a place, Jaipur in India, they are trying some type of antiviral drug, that is antiretroviral drugs plus anti-malarial drugs, and one drug which we use for the swine flu. So the combination of these drugs, they tried for 4 patients, and out of 4, they could treat, I think, 3 patients. They went back. They're from Italy.
Wow. So, I mean, everyone is taking such great precautions. You seem to understand a lot of, and I'm glad that you shared some of this information that a lot of people haven't been sharing worldwide. But in talking about it, because it's part of the same other 2 strains, but different. Why is it so different than the others? Is it causing more damage in the human body? Is it what is it doing in the human body? Are you familiar with the story?
Yes, Kim. Actually, if I talk about the SARS virus is attacking on respiratory system as well as on the gastrointestinal system. There was diarrhea also one of the major symptoms in SARS, but in cases of the coronavirus, the target cell is ciliated epithelial cell of the throat. You know, the target cell for the coronavirus, this COVID-19, is the ciliated epithelium of the throat. So that is why the first symptom is there's a pain in the throat, there is a dry cough because there are some ulcers in the throat, which has been because of damage to the epithelial cell of the throat. So that is why we are taking the swab from the patient and we are doing the culture or PCR or other test on that. So there is the only target cell right now we has been proven where the COVID-19 is the throat epithelial cells. Then it is going into the lung cells, but no other cell has been damaged. So the main replication cycle or the reproductive cycle of this virus is in the epithelial cells of the throat. So it is going into the throat and there are, it is accumulating in the throat, damaging the cells of the throat, and it's coming out through the sputum, and the main spread is through the droplet. This is not an airborne disease. This is by the droplets only, so that if we can have a social distancing of at least 1 meter, we can prevent the spread of this disease.
So I was reading, and I know, there's a lot of research going on. Does it stop in the lungs? You're saying that it goes from the throat into the lung area cavity.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that it has like thorns on it. Is it actually buried inside of us? You said it's creating ulcers.
It is creating ulcers in the throat. So that is why the main symptom is the throat. Then the high grade fever is there. We can do the social distancing. We can avoid the mass gathering. Only then we can stop the spread of this virus, because there is no treatment available till now. It will take around 9 months to 1 year to make because already I think the Jennifer is the first volunteer. She has been injected with the vaccine, and the results of the vaccine will come in some time, and at least 9 months to 1 year would be there to develop a vaccine or the treatment for this virus.
Let me ask you this. With the treatment, what are they doing for the recovered cases? Do you have any idea what they've been treating the ones who have recovered?
The patients who has been recovered, they have sent back to their homes. Maybe they are isolated in homes also. I don't think, because literature is not available, but I don't think after recovery there can be increase in the viral load. The patients who have been treated in the Jaipur, they gave combination of 4 tablets, and after 10 days of starting the treatment, they got the viral load done, and that was negative. So with the treatment of antiretroviral treatment, the load is coming down, but we don't know after how much time this can go up. Because if we talk about other viral diseases, if there is a viral infection, you will develop immunity. Because of immunity, there is antibodies in the cells, and through the whole life you are immune for that disease. So this is not for the normal viral disease. I think that will also be true for this viral disease also, because after the infection you will get the antibodies made in your body, and that antibodies will save you for the future infection.
I must say interesting.
Go ahead and ask a question, Sasha. Hold on, I'm going to put you up so we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yesterday, I was watching a Russian TV, a talk show with a very distinguished guests, and I've heard something extremely scaring, that essentially they are all saying that if we will not take any precautions, if life will go on as usual, everybody will work, everybody will do whatever things they're doing. So obviously there will be a lot of more people infected, and a lot of people will die, as a percentage suggests. However, what they are saying is that, let's see, 60% of population will get it, and maybe only 1% will die. But 59%, so to speak, it's not exactly that number, but 59% will be immune to outbreaks. Is this a valid point? It's scary for sure, but does it have any validity at all?
Dr. Segud, do you have an answer?
Yeah, if we talk about the symptoms, and if we talk about the disease scenario because of the coronavirus, and it has been said that around 80%, 75 to 80%, they are the mild symptoms, 15% is a moderate symptom, and only 5% patients, they have a severe symptoms. That too in the patients who are having the chronic disease, like they are diabetic, they have hypertension, they are in the renal failure, they are on the dialysis, and with very low immunity, cancer patients. So only 5% patients, they have severe symptoms, and out of that, only 3 to 4% is the mortality rate. Mortality rate is very, very low as compared to SARS, as compared to SARS. And this has not been mentioned in the literature, but yes, if scientifically we say, then the patients with a mild symptom, they recover, and they definitely have antibodies against this viral, and they become immune for this disease. That may be true, but the literature is not available.
That's interesting, Dr. Segud. Thank you for that, because I think we're being, we're unknown out here. We don't know anything about this. We stop research on the other two as soon as we get it contained. So, I mean, and now we've got a bigger, stronger virus, or what seems like a bigger, stronger virus out there. Ankit, do you have any questions?
Yeah. So my question is that how
So I just
important? Yes, sir. So my question is how important.
yes, I just want to make it.
Okay.
Yes, Ankit, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, Ankit,
So
please go ahead.
yeah, my question to you is that how important immunity plays a role to fight with corona, because some people have less immunity, some have more immunity, and can we increase our immunity for a time being, or maybe to fight with corona instantly, or it will take time to do that?
Yeah, Ankit, I would like to say that immunity would be a gold weapon in case of the coronavirus. It's a golden weapon. If you are immune, your immunity is very strong, then you can fight with this virus without any treatment. That is
Okay.
why I'm mentioning the mild symptom, the moderate symptom. Even with the severe symptoms, if you have a good immunity, you don't have any type of chronic disease, you recover well without any treatment. And I would like to mention here also, because we are fighting, as the Kim mentioned, why this is dangerous. Number one is this is a new virus. We don't know the nature of this virus. Number two, we were not aware of what type of the nature this virus is coming with. And number three is if you fight with the enemy, which is not visible, your enemy is not visible, you don't know about the character and the nature of the enemy, how will you fight with that enemy? So
True.
we are fighting with the enemy which is not
Without the
visible.
unknown facts, yeah, true. And also,
Yeah.
how can someone judge there, or how can someone know that I have a good immunity and I can fight with the virus? Do we have any kind of test or any kind of practice which also give me confidence that I have a good amount of immunity? I can fight with the coronavirus.
So that is a good question, but I would like to mention here that we should not test our immunity. We should increase our immunity. This is the time where we should have a good type of vitamin C, good vitamins, healthy diet, high protein diet. And if you don't have any type of the flu-like symptoms in the last few years, then your immunity is good. I
Okay.
mean, if you don't have any type of other disease, your immunity is good. So if your immunity is good, it doesn't mean that you don't take anything. You take good measures to, fasten your to increase your immunity.
And our concerns for the global society is that, I mean, today's corona, tomorrow might be something else, and maybe in future there are a lot of viruses. So how can we protect, or how can we take proper guidance and proper plan, or maybe a reservation kind of a thing, so that we can fight with such kind of viruses in future as well, without the panic what we are facing right now across the world.
Yeah. I know in the future any type of the virus can come. There are thousands of the virus are there, and slowly they are erupting now. And some viruses they are coming by mutation. When two viruses they are combining their RNA, there is mutation in the RNA, DNA in their protein synthesis, and because of the mutation, a different type of the virus is coming out. So we should be ready to fight with any type of viral infection in the future. And the answer is immunity. If you are immune, your immunity is good, you are taking healthy diet, you are healthy lifestyle, I think you can fight with any type of the viral disease.
Okay, and also my concerns are, I mean, I'm not sure whether the virus stay for a couple of months or couple of weeks, but in future, if I'm traveling to different countries, do we have to be more precautions while traveling, or I mean, how we have to take our life forward? Because sometimes, I mean, or maybe we don't have the symptoms in US or in India or maybe in China, but we have symptoms in different parts of the world. So how
Yes,
we,
yes.
we should track all those things, because you can talk about India, Kim can talk about US, Billy can talk about Australia, Sasha can talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Russia, but
yeah.
we still have to. We are living in a global society, and we travel a lot. I mean, everyone travels a lot. So how we have to make sure that all the countries, or maybe a global, I mean, a world, can safeguard themselves from corona.
Yes. Your answer to your first question, that was how much time it would take. The life cycle of coronavirus, if I would not be wrong, then it may be for 6 weeks to 8 weeks. There are 5 stages of the coronavirus. Stage one, when there is a no symptom. You cannot recognize whether it is a simple flu or is a corona flu. That lasts for around 8 to 10 days. Then there is a stage 2, when you have slight pain in the throat. You are running with the mild fever. Then stage 3. Stage 3 is the severe disease. Stage 4 is the recovery phase, and stage 5 is when the patient fully recovers. So this whole cycle takes around 6 weeks to 8 weeks. We have seen in China, it's been now 3 months, and now there is zero new local case yesterday in China. So they have fully controlled their patients, because the cycle of this coronavirus has stopped now. So
Okay.
they have completed the cycle. Number 2, you're talking about that if we want to travel to the other countries. So Ankit, I would like to mention the culture of, maybe other countries also, but I would like to mention the culture of India. If we go back to our culture, we didn't have a habit for the shake hands. We always say namaste, namaskar, sat sri akal. So this is the good way to greet anyone. There is no need to touch anybody if you don't know where they have touched, how many germs are there in their hands. So this is a good gesture. Number 2, you have to live a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet. You have to take, hygiene has to be very good. So if we take all the precautions, you avoid the mass gatherings, all these precautionary measures, if you are taking, and you are globally, wherever you go, if you are not in contact with the other patients, and you take care of yourself and your society as well. So if I take the precautionary measures, I am safeguarding myself, my society, my country, my global, my world. So the whole world is our family. So if we want to protect our family as a whole, as a global family, then we have to take all these precautionary measures.
Okay.
Well,
And do you
I
think we
agree.
should
Billy, do you have some questions from down under there in Australia for Dr. Sagu?
No,
Yes, please.
the questions that have been asked is like relevant globally. So
Yes,
yeah,
please.
the
I will
questions
try
that
to
have
answer
been
your
asked,
question.
Okay.
The questions that have been asked is like a global context. So it's relatively very similar. What's they experiencing in Canada and in India would be very relevant to what we're experiencing here. Very similar.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Similar. It's similar.
And
Yes.
It's a
Dr.
similar.
Good. What you're suggesting is what the way you lived in the past, our past cultures and social practices. We need to kind of get back to those again to kind of protect ourselves. And maybe that's a good thing, to get back to our local communities and support our local communities again. Start growing local gardens, support the local farmers, and get back to our own people for a while we heal.
Yeah.
Because the whole world is affected.
Yeah.
I was reading an article. I was reading an article today morning, and then around globally, 10% of the population around the world are in hospitals, and they are very much prone to coronavirus as compared to us, because we have a lot of other options to work from home, to work from office and things like that. So, what happened to those patients who are already in the hospital and maybe little bit far away from the people who have symptoms?
Wow.
Ankit, I would like to tell about my. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would like to tell about my hospital. Yes, that we have a special department entering into the hospital. So they are differentiating to prevent the mixing of the normal patient with the flu patients. And the flu patients are being referred to the special department which has been made by the government of India, government of New York. We are not mixing the patients. We are operating our elective patients also, but we have reduced the number of the elective surgeries now. And special measures are being taken that only one attendant is allowed with the patient, and keeping the patients for a least time of the period. That short stay period, maybe we are operating in the morning, we are discharging in the evening, and in the OPD also, we are avoiding any type of the gathering. So we are taking all type of the measures which has been guideline of the Ministry of Health, Ministry of India.
Okay. And can you also mention about that Indian government? They are trying hard to get back to the arise in India because they're not getting proper treatment outside the country?
Yes. Yeah, yes. I mean, I mentioned only that there was a meeting with the SAARC countries by PM Modi, and government of India is doing tremendously in all parts of, whether it is the healthcare department and where the teams has been there at the airport, the screening teams at the airport. They are making everything smooth. They are avoiding any type of the queues there at the airport, and they are making easy for even the foreign travelers also. And now we have stopped of the incoming patients from the country till 14th of April, and all the measures has been given, all the departments has been made, the special labs has been made for the diagnosis of coronavirus. I think 15 were there and 19 yesterday, 19 extra labs has been made in New Delhi only, where the diagnosis can be possible. So all the measures has been taken by the government of India. That is why the numbers are very less in India. Even the deaths are very less. Only 3 deaths are there reported, and all 3 patients, they came from outside into India. So we are taking all type of measures, and thumbs up to the government of India, which they are doing.
And I also want to mention one more thing, that people who are suffering from corona or people who have symptoms, they have got isolated and quarantined. One of the person, he jumped from the 7th floor because he was not able to manage that isolation.
Yes,
and
yes.
he was so scared
Yeah.
he jumped it, and he, made himself.
Yes,
You want to mention some, Dr.
Yeah. Even mentality of the public, we cannot mentality he or she is having. The government is doing the good work for them, but some patients, their thinking is, not good. They say that we are kept in isolation, we are being picked up by the police, and I don't know what they are going to do with us. So because of the mentality of some patients, because of psychosis of some patients, I think one patient, he jumped from the 4th floor and he did a suicide. So that is very bad on our part. As a public, I'm not talking about the healthcare. As a common man, I should understand the severity of the disease, because the government, whatever government is doing, not for now, the government is doing for the future. It will not take the measures now. It will not keep the patients in quarantine, or if we will not keep the patients in isolation, the future will not be good.
True.
We don't want to become, India don't want to become like some serious countries. Like, there is Italy. The bad news for us that yesterday there was 575 deaths. So they are also doing very good, but Indian government is doing tremendously. And I think we should also join hands with the government. Government should also join hands with the government.
I think all the governments should join hands. Now I'm putting on my mask because I like to do this every day, right? I've got super
I would like
right, for the girls. We'll get blue for the boys and yellow for everybody that's happy, right? We'll get emojis on them. But, but my opinion of a mask isn't so much to protect you from contagions, but it's to protect other people from you. When we self-contain in a lab, we generally are protecting our research.
Yes.
So what is your opinion of people wearing masks? We see people wearing it everywhere. What's your thoughts, Doctor?
Yes, Kim. I would like to mention here that mask would not be protective. Mask would not be protective for all the patients. Mask is only for the healthcare professionals. But yes, if you're going into the crowds in the mass gathering, you can put on your mask. But now gathering is not there. If I'm going on the road, nobody is there. It's empty. So why should be wearing the mask? For the common man, the mask is not there. If you want to wear, you can have a normal mask. N95 is not for the patients. N95 is only for the healthcare personals, because it filters 95% of your germs. And you have to know about the mask etiquettes. If we are wearing the mask, we are touching on the table, and then with the same hand we are touching the mask. There is no use of the mask. And even then, N95, there will be moisture, and the moisture, if the virus is there on the moisture, your hands are clean, but you are wearing the mask. And if the virus is there on the mask, because this virus, can stay for 2 days on any surface. So if you're not changing this mask is dangerous for the common man. This mask is dangerous until unless you are not in the crowded place.
Well, because we're not using it for the right reasons, and it's a false illusion that and like you said, you just said something that scared me. It stays alive for 2 days on the surface. Yeah. 2 days, 48 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
It stays on the surface for 48 hours. So that is why we should clean our surfaces. We should clean our hands properly. And yes, please.
Clean our phone.
Yes, everything. Even the phone is also. You should clean the phone. You should clean the hand. And there is a proper technique to clean the hands. I post some video also. You have to clean it like this, palm to palm. Then this is the area where the viruses are there, in the cleft of your fingers. Your fingers has to be cleaned properly like this, on this, and then like this, then on this. Then you have to clean your thumb. That is very important. Clean your thumb. Then clean your wrist, because these are the places where the viruses or germs can stay. So you have to clean properly your hands. At least you should take 2 minutes to clean your hand. So cleaning of the hand is more important than wearing a mask.
Wow. Doctor, Sagu, I had no idea about the hand cleaning. And 2 days on the surface, that's really scary. Will bleach kill it? Will bleach kill it? What do we clean it with? What kind of stuff do we clean our surfaces with?
Disinfectant. You're talking about disinfectants. We have a disinfectant. With the help of the disinfectant, you can clean your table, because I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a doctor. So I need to clean my surface. Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. I'm looking. Disinfectant.
Okay. This disinfectant for use. But for the washing of your hands, you can use the warm water with the soap. That is the best idea.
Can you use
make good foam of the hand? Sorry? Yeah, I can give you demonstration for with the disinfectant. I will give you the demonstration to clean with the disinfectant, because with the soap water I cannot do it right now. But I have a video on the Facebook how to clean your hands with the warm water and with the help of the soap.
Dr. Sagar, very quick question.
Yeah, please.
You've just suggested to wash your hands and clean your hands for 2 minutes. It's been suggested that you should wash your hands every 10 minutes. So which means 10 minutes, you have 2 minutes you're washing your hand, 8 minutes you rest, and then another 2 minutes washing your hand. So you'll spend essentially, I figured, 20% of your time washing your hands. If we have 24 hours, it means almost 5 hours a day you will spend cleaning and washing your hands. How would you comment on that?
Yeah, I don't think we should clean it every 10 minutes. We should clean it every 2 hours, or if you're not touching other surfaces. But if unknowingly you have touched any surface, then you have to clean after that. So after 2 hours, cleaning of hands is okay. After 2 hours, not after 10 minutes. So this is a disinfectant, if you say here. Like this we can have. This is the back of the hand in the cleft here, right? Then this is the wrist, you can see. This is the wrist here, and then thumbs. So interdigital space is very important. These spaces are very important. Now the disinfectant has totally evaporated. So your hands are totally dry. Now you can touch anywhere. You can touch anywhere. I would like to mention one thing, Kim. You're talking about the mask. The spread of the virus is when you touch your mouth, when you touch your nose, and when you touch your eyes. So if you're wearing mask, anytime you can, anytime you can touch your eyes. So the mask, they are not protecting your eyes, then you have to wear the gloves. Oh, sorry, goggles.
So,
I have one more question.
I think you're correct, because the medical profession, they're already trained with the disciplines maybe clean their hands before they touch the masks to take them off their face. The normal people out here, unless you work in labs and you've done a lot of work in labs, you're probably better off not using a mask. You know, I always say err on the side of precaution. It's interesting to know. It still bothers me that it lives for 2 hours. If we're cleaning with the cloths, what do we do with the cloth? How do we dispose of it? Is it killed on contact with water or disinfectant, or do we have to dispose of the cloth?
Yeah, we have to discard it. We have to discard it. When you are washing your hands, I will recommend that instead of taking a towel, you need to take a tissue. Take a paper, wipe it with the paper. Yes, wipe it with the paper and put it in the garbage. You have to discard whatsoever thing you have used. If you are a healthcare professional, in house also, in the homes also, you can have a towel, but you have to discard it, or you have to put it in the boiling water. You have to disinfect it completely.
I have one more question.
Wow, I'm going to do that today. You know, this is a good use and purpose for those dryer sheets after you use them, to wipe your hands off with them, and then you can throw them away, right?
Yeah.
Because plus they might have a little conditioner in them after you wash your hands. But that's a good use and purpose for dryer sheets. And then we toss them. It's something to think about. I mean, I'm always trying to look for something, but no, that's good message. I would have never thought of that. You know, you dry things off, you use a towel. I'm going around, I'm going to go collect all my towels today and throw them in boiling water. I don't know about you guys. I'll be boiling water today. I boil water a lot for tea.
Taking a warm water is a good habit. Keep on taking the warm water. Yeah, that will definitely going to protect you from any viral disease.
I would like to know about people who have beard, basically. So, I'm reading somewhere that on beard the virus contains or droplets present on the beard as well. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
That's a good point.
You have to wash your beard twice a day. Twice a day. It is very important. Whenever I used to come from my hospital, I used to wash my beard, because the droplets can be entangled into your beard hair. So, I mean, this is a very good question. This is the first time somebody is asking this type of a question. This is very good. Yeah.
Very good. I love this panel. This is what's great about having just panel talks, you know, sitting around and just kind of whiteboarding this. Yesterday, we had an interesting conversation with someone whose wife is getting ready to deliver a baby in 4 weeks. And what is the word for mothers that are pregnant? And how do they protect their babies? He's been told that the hospital has changed their policies. You pretty much drop the mother off to deliver the baby. The men cannot go in. I don't know what the precautions are in India, but in the U.S., this seems to be what they're going to be doing. But what is your message to mothers and fathers who are getting ready, and parents?
Yes, definitely the proper hygiene has to be there. And there is a very limited literature on that, if the mothers can transmit this infection to their newborns. But now we have started taking the samples of the cord blood and started taking samples from the amniotic fluid to prove that if the infection is there from the mother to the newborn. But yes, after the delivery, you have to, if the mother is infected, you have to isolate the mother from the newborn. That is very important. But the transmission, still there is not much literature is available.
Wow. Anybody else have any questions? This seems to be opening the door to more questions. Ankit?
So my question is always like that, what about those people who are already ill with different chronic diseases? How they have to take care of themselves to live a better life? Right? My father went to dialysis twice a week. So I'm very concerned about him, that how he will manage, because he has to go to hospital. I mean, be it whatever is going on, because if you don't filter his blood, it's difficult for him. So, what kind of people, or patients do while they have to follow the hospital rules?
Can you repeat that question? We had a lot of noise.
That people, a lot of patients have chronic diseases and they have to visit hospitals every week. So, in the scenario where Corona is keeping everyone at home, so what kind of precautions or measures those patients should take who are in hospital, or they have to visit hospitals in this scenario?
The patient with the chronic diseases has to be in isolation. They has to be separated from the normal public, even from the normal public. And as much as the boosters we can give for the immunity, and as much as the control we can give regarding to their disease. If they are diabetic, we need to control their sugar. We need to give them the immune boosters. If they are hypertensive, if they are on dialysis, they should be kept on regular dialysis. So the patient, this type of the category is there, which we need to take the more precautions as compared to the other patients, and definitely we should those type of the patient with the flu patients.
And what kind of boosters we have to follow? What kind of vitamins we have to take for these patients?
Yes, we can give the antioxidants. We can give the vitamin C. They should take citrus juices. They should take warm water. They should take a vitamin D. They should take a vitamin B12 on regular basis, and the calcium also, zinc also. So these all they are good for the immunity. Zinc, calcium, vitamin B12, vitamin D, vitamin C. Yeah.
Okay. And also,
hydrating, lots of hydration. I've been reading about the BHI, the Body Hydration Index. Kind of funny that you say B12. They say beer ranks up really high for the BHI, and
yes,
full of B12. Milk ranks extremely high with the BHI, Body Hydration Index. That means, what does your body retain in 2 hours? What does it flush out in 2 hours? And so they have a list of these kind of fluids. We learned the difference between sports strength and energy drinks. But you're talking about rebuilding our immune system is the real way to start to recover at home, self-recovery. Is that what you're talking about? The self-recovery?
Hello. Yes. So, sorry, I couldn't hear your question, but yes, one news is there with me from our Prime Minister PM Modi. He has announced 22nd March, Sunday, as a full lockdown in India. 22nd March. He has announced recently, right now. So now, can you please repeat your question so that I can answer your question, Kim?
Oh, so, wow. Okay, so we're in lockdown and we get sick. We really shouldn't go out to the doctors. What you're telling us is for self-recovery is to drink lots of fluids and rebuild our immune system. Eat the vitamin C's, get the vitamin D's, the B12. And
yeah,
is there any other advice for self-treatment, self-recovery?
Yeah, self-treatment is, yes, hydration is very good. The patient should be hydrated very well, because hydration is always protective for everything. Warm water, taking warm water, hydration is very good for everything. It boosts up the the immunity, and you can fight with any type of the disease if you're taking. It increases the metabolism also, so it can take care of your weakness, your malaise, your body aches. Everything the water can take care of. So I told you about the all type of vitamins you need to take. You need to take some sort of exercises also. They also increase the metabolism. So basically, you need to increase your immunity, and you need to increase your metabolism.
So it's kind of hard to exercise when you're feeling sick, but I guess even a little bit of movement. So, we learned that it doesn't seem to, like, it kind of goes into remission in warmer weather environments. So they say, do we have any idea yet of what temperature it doesn't survive in? Because we keep hearing warmer environments. Do we have any idea?
Kim, till now there is not much literature is available, but yes, there is no effect of any type of the temperature on this virus.
Gotcha.
Because in Singapore also the disease is there, in Malaysia is there, in Mumbai temperature is more than 28 every day. Even in the last 15 days, the Mumbai's temperature was more than 27, and we have seen so many patients over there also. So it doesn't mean that in summers or in the high temperature, this virus is going to be killed. But yes, I was talking about the 2 days of this virus can stay on the surfaces. That can be reduced with the if the temperature is on the higher side. So the virus cannot survive in the higher temperature, any type of the virus, but not this for specific for this virus. So the duration to stay on the surface can also reduce if the temperature is on the higher side, but you cannot kill this virus on the high temperature. So that is a myth.
That was
So
a myth.
Dr. Sabir,
Glad
Yeah,
to
that is a
hear
myth.
that one. So I am so sorry to hear that everyone's in lockdown. Now, what does this mean for India when they just announced that you're going to do a complete lockdown? What does this mean?
complete
Sorry,
lockdown is just for a
voice
day,
is not
basically.
clear.
Only one Sunday.
Voice has gone.
Okay, go ahead.
So complete lockdown is just for Sunday from starting 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. On
Yeah.
Sunday, I mean, it's like a curfew where no one is allowed to go outside, and people will stay at home and then wait for. Once the curfew is over, then they can go out. So that was a precaution the Prime Minister of India just announced. Apart from all other precautions that you have to stay home, and
Yeah.
kids and senior citizens who are prone to, such viruses, so they have to stay at home strictly without any kind of reason. And people who don't have time or maybe who have work, so they can go out.
Okay. So, Dr. Sagu, any other word on the lockdown as well in India? I can't. Oh, wait. I figured it out. Go ahead. Try again. Dr. Sagu.
Yeah. So this is a recent development whatsoever has been done by the government of India. This curfew is there has been announced, but I think isolation is. I will say only that isolation is very good. Quarantine is there. We have to take precautionary measures, and with the prevention, I think we can save ourselves, our society, our India, and globally we can save.
It's like I say, let's do what we can today to live today so that we can rebuild and play tomorrow. It's all been enlightening, and I hope that you come back and we're going to kind of do a quick another stats. You gave us some world stats at the beginning. I'm going to let Ankit share his screen so that we can do the world stats so that the people can view them, because Ankit's better at sharing screens than I am. This is what makes a great team. And and I have truly enjoyed it. I want everybody to see my little doll here. I'm chasing away the COVID. Go away. We're gonna, do the voodoo doll on him. It's just all in fun. Something I brought home with me from New Orleans the last time I was there. So anyway, but Ankit, can you share your screen so that we can see the
You already shared, you just have to make it available. I've shared it, you have to just allow it so that I will be on the screen.
Okay. Anyway, so are they in other countries? Are they rationing foods yet? Willie and I were talking about that. We need to ration. We have no food in my market. None. The girl, I go up there every day, and she came to me and she said, "Tell me what you need because we're getting a new shipment on Saturday, and I'm going to set it aside for you," which I thought was very sweet of her. But
people are panicked. I mean, and they're stocking a lot of food. For maybe for a week or so, because that's what happening in India now as well.
Yeah, even here also in India, there is no food at the stores. I just recently, 1 hour back, I went to a store and there is complete, and the racks are totally empty. So the people are storing their food for at least 2 weeks, I think.
It's all very enlightening to see how the world, it reminds me of some of those horror movies we have of zombies and the end of the world, you know, and everybody panics. And they're actually, they've closed all of our restaurants and all of our business operations. Let's talk a little bit about the financial impact. Nick has not joined us today for whatever reason. I think he's moving, actually. He had to move today. So, but we've heard that they're doing huge layoffs all over the world. Halliburton laid off 3,500 people. Ankit, you had some data of the Marriott. How many are they laying
Yeah.
off there?
So they have laid off around 10,000 employees in Marriott, and also people or companies who work closely with Marriott. So all the operations are on hold for uncertainty, because I mean they are not sure when they will come back and start the operation. So Marriott is in a very bad shape. I met to one of the hotel owners in India. In their hotel, only they have five staffs. The rest everyone is out, because there is no people. I mean, no one is ready to visit the hotel, and also the staff is only just to take care of the hotel and to sanitize the hotel. After that, they will lock down the hotel. I can't hear you.
I know. I cut my mic off because I think there's an overload on the system and we get a lot of static. So I kind of try to cut all of our mics off while one person's talking. I'm getting pretty good at manning a whole panel now. Who knows? I'll have a new job. But anyway, so it's interesting to me. I think in many ways we're over panicking on the financial side of things. I think the people at the stock market way over panicked. They are trying to put in some things here, trying to tell people that they will not be kicked out of their homes if they can't make their monthly payment until this is over. I don't know how far they can go with some of these things, but what are some of the measures that they're taking in India right now from the government on the financial side of things?
I mean, there are no measures as such, because mostly financial market is running by private companies. So private companies, they are doing, whatever the best they can do. So as of now, there are no measures, but government is trying to support everyone, and trying to work as a team, so that because we have to fight like a team, it's not the individual efforts which counts in this situation. So a lot of companies, they are sanitizing their staff, and they're sanitizing the company, and they're distributing a lot of masks and sanitizers and things like that. But on the other side, there are a lot of people who are misusing those opportunities, and I mean selling unnecessary sanitizer, which is low quality and which is not appropriate for the market right now. But there are a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers available right now. And if you go to the stats of the global indexes, you'll find apart from US and European initial markets, all the markets are down by like 1 to 5%. But US is up for around 1% today.
So I want to talk about this a little bit too, because I think we're going to start expanding the TV show to talk about businesses and how businesses can get out there and maybe rebuild some startups. We're going to do some classes for startups and let them present their ideas so that people can learn to invest in other things. But Dr. Sagu, I got a question for you.
Tell me, bro.
So yesterday we had a gentleman from Miami and Colombia, and also his family's from Ecuador and Colombia, and he owns a manufacturing facility for products that people eat. So it's very, very clean, and he has vowed to start developing means to test to develop more tests for people. Do you know of any facilities that could share with him the resources he needs to start manufacturing and developing more tests that our world needs? Because he said that he's dedicated to do this. Do you know of any place that he can contact? Hi.
Sorry, I didn't get the voice. So let me put on my voice measure over there, right?
Okay, so we had a gentleman on yesterday who has a manufacturing facility, and he can manufacture. It's very clean, like it manufactures foods. It can manufacture. It's a lab basically, and he has vowed to help start developing more test kits.
Sorry, my voice has gone.
No, I hear your voice. We hear you.
My voice has gone. Just hold on.
We hear you.
I'll take a leave, so I have to rest for another meeting.
Hi, Willie. Willie had to leave.
I also have to leave today early.
Yeah, I'm going to leave here in a minute too. But I want to find out from Dr. Sagu if he knows of any test facilities that could share with our friend in Miami that can help develop test kits.
Yes, please. Not Elmike.
Okay. Hi. So a friend of mine in Miami was on the show yesterday, and he has vowed to help make more test kits out of his manufacturing facility, which is clean. It's like a lab. Do you know of any place where he can find the how he manufactures more test kits? How, you know, what is necessary to do so?
Manufacturing of what? The cleaning product?
No, to manufacture the test. To manufacture
Test kits for corona.
Right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. We lost you. Try again.
Yeah. I think the kit for the test has been recently developed, and it's not freely available, and it is available only with the government centers which are recognized by the government of India here in India. And after some time, I think the same kit will be available for the private labs. So now I don't think the private labs can get those type of the kits which are being used for the test for the coronavirus.
Would it be a good idea to start branching that out so that we get more test kits developed, especially for the future?
Yeah, future, I think the private labs will also get, this is same like a swine flu. When the swine flu came, then the initial kits were available only with few centers, and now all the private labs in India, they are doing the swine flu test, H1N1. So the same, it will take time, but definitely we will be getting the kits for the coronavirus test also.
Okay. So I'm going to let Ankit go back to sharing his screen. I'm sorry to have interrupted you like that, Ankit. There you go.
So the data for today is that there are 8 new deaths in China as compared to yesterday, and then the total death crosses around 3,238 with 34 new cases. And Italy is still not sharing most of the information. But everyone knows that there were around 450 or 500 people died yesterday, but we don't have the facts available. Iran is also growing with 149 deaths and more than 1,000 new cases every day. Spain is in a bad shape. I spoke to someone in Spain yesterday, and they are in a panic situation, same as what in Italy. And there are more cases, which is not registered as of now, but they are growing at a faster pace like any other country, and they have more than 100 deaths and 2,000 cases. Same goes with Germany, 8 deaths and 1,000 cases. USA have very new cases. I mean, yesterday there were around 500 people have symptoms in New York, more than 500, and now we have 200 more people have symptoms with 7 deaths, and total number of deaths in US is 157. France is also not sharing the numbers, so the total deaths is 64. But I believe that France is in total lockdown, so that's why we don't have the numbers from France. South Korea has 7 deaths with 91 total deaths and 152 new cases. Switzerland is on the other side with 824 new cases, 36 deaths and 3 deaths today. London have 4 deaths, and London also shut down their metro services across, and then there are a lot of stations are also locked down. So I think they are trying to maintain the situation. And if you go about the Europe, so all the countries are growing with the new cases all over Europe. And if I go to Australia, so I'm not sure about the status, but there are 100 more new cases in Australia. Billy can confirm about it, but he's not available. And if I go to Russia, I know that only one died in Russia so far, but I don't have the stats of Russia as of now. But if I see the stat about India. So we have 1 death and 4 total deaths with 28 new cases. Russia is with 1 death and 52 new cases. Total cases is 200 in Russia and 197 in India. So I think Russia and India are trying to fight it the best way they can. And rest, I mean, the numbers are growing every day, but every country has a different way to protect themselves. So that is what it is right now with the stats.
You know, you said something very interesting, that every country has a way of protecting themselves. We're getting our research and data all from the same place, though, from the World Meter, who also provides the data to everyone else that's reliable, the CDC, the WHO, the NFID, the National Foundation of Infectious Disease. We're all kind of sharing these resources, not reinventing the wheel. So the thing is that I think we need to start joining our resources and learning from each other, so that we can beat this, because the virus isn't just growing in a lab. And I believe in the labs and where they're testing, but all too often I think we accidentally find a solution just by being out where we are and sharing information and learning from each other. You know, it would be nice to find ground zero for the virus. I know we say it's zoonotic, which means it comes from animals to humans, but precisely which animals and precisely how are they, becoming contaminated? It would be nice to have research on those. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Sagoo?
Yes, Kim, the graph which you were showing, I would like to mention that the nature of the graph is very important. This will depict, yeah. So this will depict the severity of the disease. So instead of going as a steep, which you're showing, this, if it is steep, then the severity is more, but it has to be like a plateau. So as early as possible, we can get that plateau. That is good for us. So which we have seen in yeah, it has to be plateau. Ankit rightly mentioned the figures, the facts from all over the world. And he mentioned for China also there are, I think, 12 new cases yesterday. But I would like to mention here that there was 0 local infected patient in China. All the 12 patients, they were coming from the Britishers. They're the Britishers. They came from outside the China, and they were detected as the infected patients over there. But the locals, there is 0 patient now.
But sir, no one in the panel, and I'm not sure about a lot of people, they don't believe in China's figures. Can you hear me? So I was saying that people across the globe, they don't want to believe in Chinese vaccination and figures now after the corona. So what do you think about that? Because yesterday President Trump also mentioned that this is the Chinese virus which is creating a global crisis across the world.
So actually, this vaccine will be developed after the research work. I mean, this is not a over the night manufacturing of the vaccine is there, and which I have heard, that I have seen in the news also. One volunteer has voluntarily given. I think Jennifer is there. So the vaccine has been injected, and they are doing the research work, and it will take some time. Doesn't matter if the vaccine is coming from China or US, from anywhere. We are in damn need of the vaccine right now. And I think the US people, they are going to manufacture the vaccine, and after the research work and the trials and everything, it will take time. And when the vaccine will come, definitely that will going to benefit all the world. Like swine flu vaccine is there, other flu vaccine is there. So this type of the vaccine is also beneficial, would be beneficial for us.
That's excellent thoughts going forward. We do want a vaccine. I don't see a vaccine for this for quite some time. I hope that the world scientists join together as opposed to keeping it to themselves, and we work on the solution together, because I think that's the way we're going to beat this continued virus growth. Like you mentioned, Dr. Segu, we've got several strains of this virus. So there's still a lot that we don't know, right? I mean, we need to continue research. We need to continue funding it.
Sure.
So go ahead, Ankit. So you can see the graph, like he was suggesting, the graph is doing this, but we want it to flatten out.
Yeah. But it's growing, it's climbing like I'm not sure. I mean, because
Yeah, it's a
yesterday
steep.
the number was 797, and today we have more thousand deaths across the globe. And I'm still sure that a lot of deaths are not reported on time to WHO, and that's why this data we are getting it from after the confirmation from WHO. So because there are a lot of conspiracy theories going around China, Iran, and a lot of other places because of the media control by those countries and those governments.
Yeah, and I just want to add that we jumped from 65 known cases yesterday, just here, to 92, and that was yesterday's count. After we spoke, was 65, and then they jumped to 92. So that's a lot. I mean, and this isn't, the count isn't done every hour. The data that we report is done at noon every day. Every day they update at noon. So we've got a whole 24 hours before we hear more news. We've gone into what they've called a total lockdown as well in North Carolina. New York has over 1,700 cases yesterday when I looked in New York. And we're going to have the governor of New Jersey online with us either this week or next week. Nick is arranging for a couple of governors to be online, and we've got some other political figures, not political for politics, but just people who are, in their part of the world that kind of know what's going on and why. But I appreciate everything that we've done today. I know people need to go and get to work. Dr. Segu, I hope that you join us as the subject matter expert sharing. Before we leave, we have my precious little niece who's going to share with us the social manners. She's our social manners ambassador. Amishi?
और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अच्छू अच्छू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
And I thank all of you so much for joining us. And please send in your videos. Join us. You can go GOLIV at IBM.TV and register. And everyone, have a blessed, bright future.